What's up, guys? It's John back with another video. Since my last video, I got a haircut. You probably can't really tell because I'm wearing a hat, but trust me, it looks a heck of a lot better than it did before. Also, the Patriots lost the Super Bowl last Sunday. The region of New England felt that hard. I know my area did. Like I said in my last video, I live about 30 minutes from Gillette Stadium. So everybody I knew was crocodile tears in the wake of that loss. But we're moving on. Red Sox spring training. They're all down in Fort Myers. Baseball season's right around the corner. College baseball and college softball have already started, and I've been watching regularly. So excited. The spring is coming, people. Get ready. So per usual, I got 4 stories that I want to share with you guys based off of articles I wrote this past week on Substack. And I got some recommendations for you guys at the end of the video as well. So stay tuned and let's get into it. Okay, so the first piece I want to talk about is one I wrote towards the beginning of the week about John Cassavetes' 1974 film, A Woman Under the Influence, starring my favorite actress of all time, Jenna Rollins, and her performance is just pure art. That is the best way to describe it. It is the most raw, realistic depiction of mental instability you'll ever see on film. A Woman Under the Influence is a deeply realistic and emotionally grounded portrayal of mental instability and its impact on family life. John Cassavetes, who is both the director of the film as well as Jenna Rollins' husband, used real-life tape recordings to craft the script, with a particular focus on natural dynamics, especially in regard to conversations. Studio executives initially rejected the film. Nobody wanted to take on Cassavetes' project. One executive even said, "No one wants to see a crazy middle-aged dame," in quotes, to Cassavetes. Therefore, he was forced to finance the film independently. In order to finance the film, Cassavetes mortgaged his house and borrowed money from family and friends. Cassavetes hired both professional and non-professional actors for the film, and there was very minimal rehearsal or direction. And this was Cassavetes' attempt at creating a more natural dynamic between his actors on screen. Upon its release in 1974, A Woman Under the Influence was a critical success, grossing $6 million in the box office and becoming Cassavetes' biggest financial success. Jenna Rollins won the Golden Globe for Best Actress for her performance, and both her and Cassavetes received Academy Award nominations for their work on the film. Peter Falk, best known as Columbo in the show of the same name, plays Jenna Rollins' husband in the movie and does an astounding job. However, it is Jenna Rollins' performance that carries the movie. Her performance is my personal favorite of all time by a woman on film. Her commitment and dedication to the role is unparalleled, and that's why she is one of the all-time greats. The next story I want to talk about is one that I wrote about the song When It's Cold, I'd Like to Die, which is a 1995 song from the album Everything Is Wrong by electronic artist Moby. Moby wrote the song in 1994 while living in Manhattan's Chinatown with his then-girlfriend and dog, Walnut. This song was a departure for Moby from his typical techno rave music that was popular in the early 90s, as the song has no percussion, and even his A&R representative was very skeptical upon hearing the initial demo. Dream pop vocalist Mimi Gazy contributed lyrics to the track and recorded her vocals in one take in Moby's Manhattan studio in his apartment. Being the last track on an obscure album, the song went largely unnoticed upon its release in 1995. However, years later, the track gained global recognition when it was used by David Chase in the hit series The Sopranos. The song became even more popular when it was used both in Season 1 and Season 4 of the global phenomenon known as Stranger Things. Originally a song that Moby thought nothing special about, When It's Cold, I'd Like to Die is now one of Moby's most famous songs, going from an obscure song on an obscure album in the 90s to one of the biggest ambient hits of the 21st century. It's Britney, bitch. For my next story, for those of you who don't know, Britney Spears recently sold her music catalog to New York-based publishing company Primary Wave. The deal was signed on December 30th of 2025, but its price was undisclosed to the public. Estimates value the sale at around $200 million, which for our girl Britney seems pretty low. At least I think so. But Justin Bieber sold his catalog a few years back for around $200 million, so I guess it makes sense. Britney Jean Spears, the princess of pop, and my personal favorite female pop star of all time. First rose to fame in the music industry with her debut hit single, Baby One More Time, and her first couple of albums were just beautifully done teen pop revival albums, bubblegum pop, dance pop, just super fun. Despite her personal problems and scrutiny from the media, as well as her 13-year-long conservatorship under her father, Britney Spears continued to tour and release music and define pop over and over again for generations to come. Primary Wave has a track record of acquiring the catalogs of major music artists, including Whitney Houston, 50% of the estate of the Notorious B.I.G., Rick Ocasek from the Cars, etc., etc. In 2024, Spears declared that she would never return to the music industry, but we still love her. We love you, Britney. The last story I want to talk about is one I wrote recently about the midnight paintings of Theodore Geisel, more commonly known as Dr. Seuss. The Midnight Paintings is a body of about 200 secret works by Dr. Seuss that he created late at night when he was alone and either suffering from writer's block or he couldn't sleep or just wanted personal amusement. He made these darker, more surreal pieces known as the Midnight Paintings. The Midnight Paintings showcase moodier subject matter, including themes of anxiety, isolation, and social commentary, which differ greatly from his children's books. Dr. Seuss died in 1991, and these Midnight Paintings were eventually made public in 1995, offering a unique glimpse into the darker, gloomier, more surreal side of a creative genius. For this week's song recommendation, I recommend the track Ruby off of 21 Pilot's second studio album, Regional at Best, from 2011. For this week's album recommendation, I recommend Signing Off, which is the debut studio album by British reggae band UB40 from the year 1980. And lastly, for this week's film recommendation, I recommend Ingmar Bergman's 1957 road drama film, Wild Strawberries. So those are the stories for this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate all the support. Always trying to get better, always trying to improve my videos and my subject matter. I feel like there's already been some improvements thus far over the course of these first 4 videos. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please stay tuned in the future. And if you want to read these articles, I will have them linked in the description below. Thank you guys so much and have a good week. See you next time.